But running is not the problem with Miles Sanders. It's everything else. We've talked about this a little bit.
I did want to ask you this. I don't even know why it dawned on me this weekend, because I'm always coming back to thinking of things that maybe you and I can discuss here on Birds 365. And Miles Sanders came into my line of thought. And I just went back and checked Miles Sanders' numbers last year and his rookie year and realized, damn, he had a drop off in a specific aspect of his game. Last year, he actually ran the football better his second year than his first year, which is the way you would think most players would go. Everybody starts off and they build up, and then at some point there's a natural bell curve and it comes back down when age starts to kick in. And it kicks in earlier with running backs than two positions we've already discussed today, quarterback and wide receiver, where guys at the very top of the game can play into their 40s. That's just not the case with running backs. There is a wall that you hit and it's over and done with. But his 5.3 yards per carry last year was the seventh best in the National Football League, which was pretty damn good when you think about it. So a lot of people have a expectation and a rating of Miles Sanders coming into the season. Eagle fans specifically very high on the young man, as am I. But I realized, damn, did he drop off in the passing game last year? He was significantly better as a rookie catching the ball out of the backfield than he was as a sophomore or second-year player catching the ball out of the backfield. And the drop-off was significant. Goes from, 500 and change yards down to 197. Less than half of what he had achieved the year before in the passing game. Why such a big drop-off?
Well, and we're going to bring on Teron Davenport here in a second from ESPN covering the Titans. But I would say, Jody, we'll get to this after Teron a little bit. Everybody talks about that improvement from year one to year two. And people were so excited about Moss because he wasn't asked to catch the football a ton at Penn State. And he seemed like a natural pass catcher. And he took a step back. Even Deuce Staley said it. Deuce Staley admitted it when he was here. And that's surprising because Deuce, isn't going to call out his players a little bit much. But that's how much they respect Miles Sanders, and they think he has the ability to bring that part of his game up to an elite level. And it just didn't happen.
Your Mac and Mac guys here hanging out with you for 365 Monday edition. We'll be here till Thursday this week. A little bit of a long weekend for us, and hopefully for you guys too. July 4th weekend coming up, which means we're getting that much closer to the opening of camp for the Philadelphia Eagles and their 2021 season. Again, let us thank Teron Davenport for helping out with us. Great job. Good dude. Gave us some really good insight on a bunch of different topics, and I promise we will have Teron on again. Jimmy Kempski is going to join us in less than 15 minutes from now, so let's jump back to the Birds. Didn't know when Teron was going to be able to hop on, so I started asking you about Miles Sanders, and we got kind of sidetracked because Teron eventually was able to hop on. I just was doing some looking at Miles Sanders' numbers last night, and he had a really good season. I didn't realize how good a season he did have running the football. He was the seventh leading runner in the National Football League average yards per carry. There were only 6 guys in the NFL who had a better average per carry than him. And of those 6, only 4 of them were running backs. You got Lamar Jackson and Murray, who both averaged more per carry. Only Dobbins, Chubb, Aaron Jones, and Derrick Henry averaged more per carry. Maybe the Eagles should have run the ball more last year. Now that in 2020, analytical.
Well, that's part of it. Jody, that's why, you bring up Derrick Henry. We just talked about him. He might be the best running back. If he's not, he's certainly in a very small class in that conversation. The more you run the football, the tougher it is to keep your numbers up. So, when you have somebody like Henry who touches it as much, okay, that guy's good. There's a lot of guys, there's diminishing returns. The more times they touch it, those numbers are going to go down. But running is not the problem with Miles Sanders. It's everything else. We've talked about this a little bit. Now, you, Deuce Deuce Staley, the Eagles' old running backs coach and ex-assistant head coach, he still had some problems with him as a runner as well. Mainly taking what's there, as they say, taking what's blocked. A lot of times, Miles will try to kick everything outside still, and he gets a lot of home runs. So if you want to go the baseball route, you want to make that comparison. He's a home run hitter, Jody, but he's a run hitter who's hitting 240. You want the guy who's hitting 40 home runs, but you want him to hit 300 as well. Now that's easier said than done. You those power hitters tend to be really, really impactful. And that's what Miles Sanders is as a runner. So there's no questions there other than you'd like to see him improve a little bit inside the tackles. And if something isn't blocked, well, and there's 3 yards there, take the 3 yards and move on to the next play. But the issues are pass receiving and even more so pass protection.
We could do pass protection, but I want to ask you about the pass receiving because the numbers are pretty stark. To judge the pass protection, you have to watch film and you got to go to play by play, and there really are not a stat that you can. Well, the Eagles were sacked. Well, how many times was the sack his fault? It's minutia you got to be able to break down. But the numbers on pass receptions is something you can take a look at and be able to analyze right off the bat. He had 509 yards receiving as a rookie. When he was coming out of Penn State, that was one of the question marks about him and why he was a second-round draft pick, not a first-round draft pick, was he didn't catch the ball much at Penn State. So people didn't have tape to be able to judge him on how good he was going to be. And damn if he doesn't come in as a rookie and catch over 500 yards worth of balls. Has a really good year as a pass receiving back out of the backfield in his rookie season. Last year, he drops back to under 200 yards receiving. Something went wrong there. Either there was a massive change in the Eagles' philosophy, or he wasn't getting the job done, or he wasn't on the same page with the quarterback. But usually you see a player step up from year 1 to year 2 in almost all facets of their game. That didn't happen with Miles Sanders. His production as a pass receiver out of the backfield went backwards pretty damn badly. Why was that?
I think it was the little things. I know it, and I talk about this all the time, and it comes directly from Deuce. If you're a running back, if you're an outlet receiver, now there are different routes, obviously. In the modern NFL, running backs are often split out, and they're part of the progression. But when you're in the backfield, in theory, you're a safety valve. And to be a safety valve in this league, and for a quarterback, they have to know where you're going to be. You have to hit your landmark, and it's okay. My first progression isn't open. I go to my second progression. Rarely, there's no Peyton Mannings anymore. You're probably not getting down to 3 or 4, and then you just default to okay. My running back's going to be here. I'm just going to throw the ball, flip the ball to the running back. That's my safety valve. Nobody's going to be there. And if he's not in that position, it looks bad, Jody. It looks bad. So, we have the chicken and the egg situation with Miles Sanders and Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz was abysmal last season. We can all agree on that. Yeah. I think even Eagles fans who would protect him now that he's out of town would finally admit to themselves it's like Ben Simmons in the playoffs. He was bad. You got to admit it at some point. People have admitted it. He was bad. But Miles as a receiver was bad as well. So you have this perfect storm of 2 bad players. You have a bad season. Guys who aren't doing their job right. And Miles was his biggest part of it. And by the way, he acknowledges it. He knows. And that's a good sign. I've said that before. Because he knows he had a bad season as a pass catcher and a pass protector, and he knows he's got to improve. If he doesn't improve, and Jamal Singleton, who is the new running backs coach, has said, look, we need these 3 traits. We need a guy to run the football. That's going to be Miles Sanders. We need a guy to catch the football on third down. That might not be Miles Sanders. And we need a guy to pass protect. That also might not be Miles Sanders unless he improves.
Now, that is good to hear that the Eagles are cracking down on being able to be a full and rounded running back. New running back coach has got to earn the respect of the players. Certainly Deuce Staley had it when he was here. We've had a chance to hear from Jamal Singleton a couple of times when they've made coaches available. Do you think the running back room is going to give him all the respect that he needs and deserves as his first year as their coach?
Yeah, Jamal is one of those guys I don't worry about because he kind of commands a room. And he's older. He's one of the older coaches on this team. He's been around for a little bit, and he's an Air Force guy. And, hey, say what you want about those academy guys, but they have a certain presence about them. He has that presence. You can see it right off the bat. You know, and Teron Davenport, we just had on talking about drills. He's got some innovative drills, ball security drills. He talked about Teron talked about the boxing glove on the end of a stick. Well, the Eagles do that while Jamal Singleton has a football with a cord tied to it. So he's ripping the football out with a cord tied to it. And you got a guy behind the running backs punching it out with a boxing glove to try to get ball security. It was really inventive. It was really fun to watch. And by the way, Jody, nobody could do it. I mean, it's impossible. And the guys are having fun. They're laughing. They're enjoying it. But it also helps them. And hopefully it helps this Eagles running back room. But I do think it's going to be more of a committee approach. I do think we're getting to the point where, and by the way, we talk about 400 touches with Derrick Henry. You can't give 400 touches to Miles Sanders. So it's good. You need a committee approach.
And they've got a committee in that running back room right now. And when camp opens up, it's going to be fun. That's going to be one of the more fun positions to track between Boston Scott, Kerryon Johnson, Jordan Howard, Kenneth Gainwell. They're not going to be able to keep all those guys on this roster. So it'll be a fun competition. And we know the coach loves competition to keep our eye on in training camp. All right, coming up next. Part of the Malton Mafia. Forget this McMullen Mafia. The Malton Mafia joining forces. Yours truly with our buddy from PhillyVoice.com. Jimmy Kempski joins us next here on Birds 365.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.